cooperate. All right.
Let's dance.
Welcome, nerds. Tonight is episode 3 of the Alpha Nerds Guild podcast. Press start. I'm your host, George, and along with my co-host, Mike. Sorry about the technical difficulties yesterday. Facebook was not being cooperative, so we're doing this tonight. Mike, what are you currently reading, watching, playing, listening to?
I actually picked up, and I don't know if I can reach it, but I picked up a collector's edition Ninja Turtles from the 1985. It's the whole series inside the Turtle Van.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's like way over there, or else I grab it. And what else am I doing? I'm reading. Got some of my comics over here actually. We got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Reborn, which is like the remake of the original comic, a full color and everything. I've got Batman Beyond, which has been phenomenal if you haven't read it, and the Green Lantern Hal Jordan series. Just tons of stuff, man. Tons of stuff, and of course Warframe.
Yeah, always. Now, the original Ninja Turtle series, wasn't that black and white except the bandanas were red or something like that?
Yeah, actually, here's one of the covers here if you want to see it.
Nice. Oh, Raph got his face messed up, it looks like.
Yeah, actually, that's one of the cool parts is I think it's the first one. Yeah, the very first comic of this series. He gets most of his face blown off by the Foot Clan, and he just walks around with this whole bandage over it and everything. It's crazy.
Right on. Right now, I'm playing. I just finished Spider-Man over the weekend. Got my review up. It's on the Alpha Nerds Guild podcast or Alpha Nerds Guild website and on the group page. So you can find it there if you want to read it. I got some gameplay footage. No spoilers though. I started playing Assassin's Creed Origins, but I'm going to take a break from that because I got a review code for Observer on PlayStation 4, so I'm going to play that. I'm still watching Grant Chester. I'm on Season 3 of that, which I believe is the latest season that's been recorded. And I've been watching a lot of Spider-Man movies the last week or so. And,
yeah, that new Spider-Man's not bad. I like it.
Homecoming?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I liked it too. I actually liked the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 a lot as well. I liked Andrew Garfield.
That was awesome.
And I need to start reading Mouse Guard again. I got a couple books that I just need to get caught up on. So, all right, let's get to the main topic tonight. We're going to talk about Warframe. Space Ninjas. Mike, you are the resident expert here. I've played quite a bit, but I took a 2-year hiatus when I didn't have a PlayStation, so I'm going to let you do the steering.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are now in my territory. Today, we are finally going to talk about Warframe, and I'm going to start with the beginner's info, and we're going to work our way all the way up the pyramid. So, for those who don't know, Warframe is Space Ninjas. It's completely free to play, and it makes you feel like a badass when you're playing it. You get to do all the bullet jumping, and the sword slashing, and the guns blazing, and you genuinely feel like you're having an epic adventure every time you go out. The game starts out, you don't know what's going on. You're given 3 Warframes to choose, which is Mag, Excalibur, and Volt. And each one plays very distinctly from the other one. Excalibur is your typical bring out the sword and let's just start swinging and cutting things down. Mag is more of like, I want to control the battlefield so you can crush people with your mind. And Volt is exactly what it sounds like. It's like you're a giant Pikachu and you're electrifying everything around you. It's hard to choose, and I'm not going to lie. At first, most people get into it and they're like, well, I want to be this ninja. I want to do some cool stuff. So at first, I would say let's pick Excalibur. Mm-hmm. But if you're the kind of person that likes to sit back and throw stuff, I would say Volt. And if you're the kind of person that likes to have a little bit of everything, Mag would be the way to go. But each one is a little bit distinct from the last. And the reason I say choose Excalibur is because that Warframe 1 is actually kind of hard to get later on in the game. You actually have to farm pieces for it from a boss, and it gets to be a pain in the ass. Volt's pretty easy to get, especially the guild system, which we'll talk about in a minute. And Mag, you can get that in a couple of minutes. That's really easy to get later on. Now, moving on, obviously, you in the beginning stage, you get to choose a certain type of weapon in the beginning, which is your melee, and they give you a choice between a sword and a staff. Later on, you're going to expand to hammers, fans, daggers, boken. I mean, axes. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many different ways you can customize your character in this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's unbelievable, and it's very overwhelming. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because everything just gets piled on in the beginning, and you're just like, "What the hell is going on?" Like I'm in my ship. I just restored it. What's going on? But that's where it really comes into where this is a community game.
Mm-hmm.
The community is absolutely 100% part of this game. If you're the kind of person that likes to solo, you can do that. But it's going to be longer. It's going to be harder. And it's going to be pretty lonely because most of the game, centers around finding a team through the looking for group system, which is almost instantaneous at any given time. I recommend finding a guild because with the guild, not just comes a group of people you can game with on the regular.
No, I think we lost Mike.
Funny me. Did we?
Yeah. My computer froze for a couple seconds there. All right, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. So, with the guild, you find the bigger the guild, the more access you have to specific blueprints, very special blueprints. Gondau or Guandao, however you want to say it. You get Volt, Neza, Banshee. There's Wukong, I think, is another one, which is, I mean, you'll understand. Yeah, Zephyr is another one. And this helps you not only level up, which I'll explain the leveling system in a minute, but it gives you access to things that you would normally have to pay cash for, which is the Platinum system, which I'll talk about again in a minute. Now, as for the leveling system, let's go ahead and get into that. The leveling system is every time you max out something, a gun, a melee weapon, or a warframe, or a sentinel, which is your little robot buddy that follows you around, or you can have dogs or cats, which are the Kavat and the Kubro, which I'll get into the helpers in a minute. You can only receive the experience boost from that one time. Once you max it out, it goes into your mastery rank. The higher your mastery rank, the more stuff you have access to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's not really important to blow through your mastery rank. It helps, but the game is more about pacing yourself and enjoying the content, which is nice because it's not all about who has the most powerful stuff, who has the most powerful build, or who has the most stuff. It's about you, your personal style, and what you're comfortable with. Now, you can look up builds on the internet, you can copy other people's stuff, but at the end of the day, it's always about your personal preference in this game. And that's when you get to, do you like playing with a cat as your helper, or do you like playing with a dog or a robot? They give you access to that stuff. And as you level up, you have more access to, higher blueprints. So starting off, let's say you're mastery rank 2. Because I think that's pretty easy to obtain just by doing the opening content. You don't have access to, say, the Corinth shotgun, or you don't have access to the Guandao, or you don't have access to, let's say, the Akbolto, which is the 2 pistols that shoot these, Buffy the Vampire Slayer spikes. That's where the mastery rank gets important, but it paces you out in the game to where you can really explore your own personal styles and what you want to work towards. Now, the questing system is what it gets important. So this is where that whole don't rush through the game comes from. Because there aren't a lot of quests. And there aren't a lot of ways for it to lead you into the quests. You just kind of sit on your ship and you're like, what do I do next? The beauty of this game is its simplicity, and that is it tells you to make your own adventure, basically. Do you want to go look for the Mirage blueprints? Do you want to go after Atlas? Do you want to further the storyline? And most people don't even know, but if once you get through a certain section of story quests, you finally get to customize your character, which is your operator, which is your little kid inside of Warframe, basically. And you can make them male or female. You can make them as colorful or as bland as you want. You got the emo hairstyles.
I think I gave mine a lip ring.
Oh, man. Ow. Yeah, mine's... I actually made mine a female because the male voices on the PC annoy me.
Gotcha.
So she's like... it's like a little punk rocker. You know, she's got the face thing and the what is it? The little devil horns.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But now everybody's probably wondering, what's the pay store? Why is everybody saying that this game is pay to play? And that's actually not true. Everyone looks at the pay store and they're like, oh man, I got to pay real money for all these weapons. No, you do not. Everything, and I repeat, everything in the game is obtainable in some way, shape, or form by you grinding it out. It may take longer, it may be harder, but you don't actually have to pay any money, which is really great. You know, and I choose personally to buy Platinum because I like DE as a company. I like their policies. I like the way they deal with people, which, by the way, if you ever do have a problem, I highly suggest writing DE. They are amazing. They deal with their customers immediately. They help you. I've even gotten free stuff just for reporting bugs or losing stuff during a mission. Like I had a Axie V7 relic that was supposed to drop, and I never got it. And I contacted them saying it was a bug. They gave me 2. How cool is that? So honestly, you know, if you want to go that route, go for it. But the pay store brings up a very interesting idea: the user market. The user market in this game is very, very alive. There's even a website, if you want to check it out, warframe.market, and just hit enter on your web browser, and you can search for any relic, any piece, any gun that you can get out of the relics, even Warframe pieces, that you need, and it'll tell you who's selling it for how much and what their in-game name is, so you can contact them if you have the Platinum. If you have things you don't want, you can advertise them in the market channel and get Platinum that way. So you don't technically have to put in money to get Platinum. And it makes it so much easier to track down, like, say, Rhino Prime parts, which is one of the ones that's entering the vault in the next couple days. Valkyr Prime, which is another one. She's like the Rage Wolverine claws of death. You know, and I mean, I could be here all day talking about every single Warframe because there's so many different ones. The ones that you see in the market are just the basic ones. There are ones, the Prime versions of some of them that are even harder to get, you know, that you can grind out, like I was saying. And it's just, the game, there's so much depth to the game, and it's all free. All of it is completely free. I'll do the Donald Trump. It's the best. It's the best. We're going to have the best game. We're going to have the best freedom. It's going to be amazing. You know, and the vault and the relics, people wonder about that sometimes. The vault is basically they rotate out which Prime Warframes you can get at certain times, yep, or which relics you can get at certain times, which allow you to get the pieces. So, and then, of course, you know, there is the current event, the Plague Star, going on right now. It's going to last for 10 days. The Infested, which are like the evil, zombie, bubbling, boiling, nasty, infectious people of the game, have come down to Earth on Cetus, which is like the main Earth people area, and they are trying to infect Earth again. And so you have to go in, and you'll get reputation with the Plague Squad and grind it out, and you'll actually have access to certain weapon pieces like the Zaw pieces. And for those wondering who haven't looked at that yet, Zaws are customizable melee weapons that you build piece by piece. You pick the handle, you pick the blade, and you pick the little attachments on it that each do certain things. And the Plague Star ones are like the best of the best. They give innate infection damage. They're faster, they're stronger, they're meaner, and they look cool too. So the newer content that's coming out, we're going to have a customizable pistol that's going to be coming out soon, and you can make like a one-shot, Dukes of Hazzard fire gun, or you can make a really fast pistol. And the other cool thing is even though we have the Kubro, which are the dogs, and the Kavat, which are the cats, and we have the Sentinels, which are your little robot buddies that follow you around, which all have different powers, we're now going to be getting a Moa, which is like a little bird walker. It looks like a little chicken that'll follow you around, and you can have different attachments and pieces that's going to be making it soon. And for those who are like, well, I don't really like the third-person fighting and shooting. I want something that's a little more grandiose. Space battles, that's coming too. We're going to have ship-to-ship warfare in space. You're going to have people on the guns on your ship, and you're going to be able to launch yourself over to the enemy ship to go in there and just tear stuff up. It's going to be crazy. This game is literally getting a huge expansion. It's going to be crazy. So anyway, I've talked enough. What questions do you have?
So these custom melee weapons, do they do anything special based on the different components you used? Like, does a handle give you higher crit chance, one handle over the other? Does one do a higher base damage, or are they simply cosmetic?
Actually, I'm glad you asked. They actually do different things. You have, like, I'll give you the Mi one, which is the saw head. It kind of looks like a traditional saw blade that people use. It has a higher crit chance and higher damage at the cost of speed and status chance. So that blade, if you have that, it's made for critical attacks. You can put status on it, but it's not going to proc as much as compared to the Ula, I think it's what it's called, the little dagger one, which looks like a scythe head, a mini scythe head. That one's made for crit and status by lowering the base damage and the speed. Or is it? No, it's it's crit and speed at the cost of damage and status. So each piece that you put into the melee weapon does something different, and there's tons of customizations to do.
Okay, that's cool, because, like I said earlier, I'd taken a break for a couple years, and I'm going to be starting up on that relatively soon. I think I got a couple pieces, but I just bought some randomly for the credits. I didn't really pay attention to what they were doing. And I'm glad you mentioned Rhino Prime going to the vault, because that is my main, and I'm glad I've got him. I think I put 5 Formas into him already. Now, since I last played, they've changed the focus system, I've heard. Because I know all my focuses were reset.
Yeah.
You want to go into the focus system real quick?
Well, okay. Well, the focus system's a little bit... it's kind of off right now. They had a lot of problems with the focus system. Right now, they're more focusing on how you customize your character versus like the efficiency and the focus of the character itself. So Ash no longer has a passive for daggers. He no longer has a passive for silent weapons, but it makes up for his critical damage and his stealth are now more focused on for his passives. So the focus of the game now is more into getting it to be more player friendly versus building your character a certain way and being restricted by the Warframe itself.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the video back up and running.
Nope, you're fine.
Yeah, the last time I played, they were putting Frost Prime in the vault. So it's been a hot minute.
Frost Prime's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, I got him, but I don't know if I think I got him, maxed out, and then I don't think I used him after that. I like Mirage, Chroma, Rhino Prime. Do you want to explain the Prime frames and Prime weapons a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So every weapon in the game has a regular version and a prime version. The regular version of the gun functions just like the prime version, but the prime version has extra modification slots, which I'll get into in a minute. And it has ever so slightly tweaked damage applications. So let's say you have Soma, which is basically the AK-47 in the game, with a humongous clip on or a magazine on it. You have 200 rounds per magazine, which God, I wish I could do that in real life. You know, and the base damage of that is, say, let's just throw out a number 400. The base damage on the Soma Prime is 420, you know, say 425, plus it's got ever so slightly better, just a tiny bit, critical chance and status chance. That being said, of course, you know, you would want to get the Prime versions, but then everybody focuses on the Prime because it's the best of the best. It's not always true. You can still perform evenly with the Prime versions to the regular versions on almost every single case, but the Primes do have a better look to them, and they require less forma, which is these little pieces you'll use, and I'll explain that in a minute to the crowd too, to make the drain on the weapon for the mods less. So it basically means more money in your pocket if you have the Prime version, because you don't have to shell out more credits to fix it. So people are wondering now what I'm talking about. Forma means that, you know, and I wish I could pull up a picture, but you basically, on every weapon, you have 8. You have 8 modification slots in 2 rows. And you can put on damage modifiers, you can put on status chance, multi-shot, which adds more bullets per shot instead of wasting the ammo. And, you know, you can add the speed of the reload. You can add to the silent. If you want to make it silent, you can do that with a mod. But each mod has a specific little symbol in the corner. Like one's a V, one looks like an R, one looks like a D.
There's one with a straight line.
Yeah, one's just a straight line. There's one with 2 lines. And that's called the mod polarity. The mod polarity is basically a certain school of damage. So, you know, like Zarin, Madoran, you know, the names don't matter. But basically, if you match the symbols together with the forma and put that in a mod slot and choose the same symbol that you're putting in that slot, it will lower the cost of your drain on the weapon. So each mod costs a number. So let's say Serration, which is a base mod for almost any build you do, it ups the damage of any shot you put in the gun by a percentage. So I think max Serration is 180%.
I believe
for the base mod.
Yep,
yeah,
I've got one of those.
Or 200 and something. Yeah, and of course there's Prime mods, which is the same as the Prime weapon. But
yeah.
If you match the V to the V slot, instead of it being worth 14 drain, it cuts it in half to 7. And that means you can put more powerful mods on more parts of the weapon. Now, that brings me about to how to, you know, what the mods do. You actually have to level up the mods as well as the gun itself. That's really easy because all you have to do is go into your mod station, click on the mod you want, and just click the arrow as many times as you can, and spend what's called endo. Yeah. You don't have enough endo, and you don't have enough credits, you can't up it to that level. It's real simple. That leads to the big part of the game.
Cut in real quick?
Grinding. Yeah.
When I started playing again and I found that out, I was like, are you kidding me? Because I spent so much. I mean, I maxed out Serration, Prime Flow, Redirection, Steel Fiber, Vitality, a bunch of these mods. And now it seems like it's way easier, because you used to have to match up the polarities to get them to level up faster.
Yeah.
So, my buddy and I, we started playing again, and we're like, whoa, what happened here? Like, this is way easier. So, anyways,
yep. Yep, so when you get the Prime versions of those mods, by the way, those are very rare, very hard to get a hold of, and that brings you to Baroque Tier, and he shows up every 2 weeks, and that's a whole other rabbit hole that we can go down
For you
later.
Destiny
because
fans,
that's
he's kind
just-
of like Xur.
Yeah, he's Xur basically. What else, man? What else you got? Throw it at me.
So you touched on the starting frames. You can buy some of the frames through Platinum, correct? Say like a Saren or a Rhino, not the Prime.
Right. Now, the reason I'm glad you asked that actually, because you can buy anything in the game with Platinum.
Yep.
The thing is everything is obtainable without it, like I said before. Now, and I'm glad you brought up Saren because he's one of everybody's favorites. He can nuke an entire map with his pestilence and just sit there and laugh about it. You actually have to, if you don't want to spend the Platinum and you want to farm him, you farm the pieces through, I think it's Alad V. Or is it, is it Alad V or is
Sounds
it,
right.
it's one of the bosses, but you have to run it and run it and run it and run it and run it. And, a lot of people find it easier to farm him, or not to farm him, but buy him with Platinum. Same with Mesa, which is the gunslinger frame, or Nidus, who's the one you got to farm for in the survival maps for the Infested.
He's the one I'm leveling up now, actually, Nidus.
Yeah, he's a pain in the ass. He's like my kids.
Now, you can also, though, if you get certain parts or certain mods, certain weapons, you can sell those on the player market in exchange for Platinum, correct?
Yeah, actually you can. Now, the problem is if you have parts to a frame, and it's not Prime, you cannot trade them.
Yep.
You cannot trade parts for Mesa, you cannot trade parts for Nidus, or Saren, or Neza, or anybody. Because then the market would be flooded with garbage frames, and it would kill the user market. They also do this because they want you to have some incentive to go back and do it yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's not that the frames are garbage, it's that they're easily attainable through playing, and they don't want the market flooded because they want people to play and not just build up frames.
Exactly. So, and so if you sell, like I said, you don't have to buy Platinum. You can actually farm the relics for the Prime pieces themselves. And you can go on the market and be like, here, 5 Platinum for this, 10 Platinum for that. You can be a hustler if you want to in this game. It's fine.
Or just
they don't
mods,
care. They encourage it.
People will buy mods, especially
mods.
if you've leveled them up.
Oh my god!
If you've leveled up a mod that's highly sought after, if it's rare and it's maxed out, you can get a decent coin for that.
I think Argon Scope maxed out right now is going for 175 Platinum.